That's fine. I get that, but you're wrong and I hate you.
You better back off, girlfriend.
Alrighty. I made it. I'm gonna have to fix my camera really quick because I used it to record video footage, so I had to figure out, let's see. All that stuff off. I'm gonna see about Somewhere right around there. Give or take.
Yo.
PP, how you doing? King, Corvina, appreciate y'all being here. I was trying to get my my settings all dialed in here because I used my camera for regular recording, so my settings are all off. Where's my utility? ISO does not need to be quite that high. Well, actually, maybe we'll do that and then we'll bring the aperture down so we have more of a focus range, because that's always a lot easier. I'm just trying to get it to where it'll be comfortable for me to paint while also staying in frame. This is always like the struggle for me. Doing pretty good. How are you doing? How's everybody doing? I hadn't gotten to stream any painting lately, and I enjoy painting. I paint pretty much every night. I painted these two guys. I painted this guy right here this weekend, I think. Was it Sunday? Something like that. And I posted it whenever I did. And then this guy I painted last night. I didn't post him or anything. I hadn't finished him all the way, so I'm living, I hear you. But now we got this guy, who I already did a skin, as you can see, or as you can kind of see. I don't know why it casts like a really harsh shadow for some reason, even though like it shouldn't. Alright, so I've been kind of just winging it with these guys, because a lot of them are different. This guy has fur for his cloak thing, so I did white to kind of contrast because all of his rest of his colors were kind of dark. And then this guy has like a hide, but it's not the same kind of hide as this guy. This is more of like a lizard scaly hide, whereas this almost looks like a worn leather hide. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. This one is like just a worn, maybe like a dark brown leather hide. I don't know. But the thing that I've been using to tie them all together is their shoulder pads. All these guys have the purple shoulder pads, and I have the leader dude too, who also has a purple shoulder pad. So they all have the purple shoulder pads with the red eyes and stuff that kind of tie them all together. But their hides and furs and things I've been doing kind of different every time. And of course their skin colors are all very different. I've been trying to keep them pretty unique. What was that guy? That's the knob. I've got 3 done out of like 20. Color in pink. Some people do. I've seen pink orc armies before, and pink space marines as well, for that matter. you can basically do whatever you want to do. If anybody tells you you can't, tell them to mind their own business. Basically. They're my toy soldiers, and I'll paint them however I see fit. Alright. All their pants have been gray, so I'm going to stick with... Like I said, I'm trying to do a couple things all like the same color so that they do have some uniformity. So that way, even if their skin and some of their other clothes are different, like you can still tell they're all part of the same unit. We were supposed to be a unit. Can't paint them pink is it manly? As Crystal said the other day, real men wear pink. And real orcs do too. But I don't know, I was trying to find good colorings that would kind of not only be fitting for what I want my army to look like, but also kind of work well with the skin tones. And that's why doing the furs and the hides and things, different colors, has kind of worked out, because like this guy's got more of a, it's lighter than the one guy's skin, but it's also darker than the other guy's skin, so probably go with a brown that's kind of dark to start off with, but then I'll lighten it up with some dry brushing and stuff. He has holes in his pants, and I'm trying my best not to get any paint, because I've colored the skin where there was holes in the pants. I'm trying not to paint over that. Oh yeah, the cover face mask, I got a ton of pink, yeah. I feel like his leg is probably bare in here, and I can't see it to save my life. One of the only problems of painting a model when it's completely put together is it's really hard to see some of these areas, and then sometimes you can't tell that they're not painted until it's basically done, and then you're like, crap. Not that I don't really think anybody's going to be picking the model up and looking between his legs to see if it's painted. Hey Royal, thank you for contributing. I think I saw King did earlier as well to the bonfire stream goal. This is the best stream on Twitch. I don't know if I'd go that far, but it is a stream on Twitch. I can confirm that. They might. Yeah, I've been doing painting every night, but streaming painting is like a whole ordeal, because I have to set up a little tray and the laptop, and then I have to hook all the cords back up and do the camera stuff, and it ends up being like a whole thing. So I've just been kind of painting in my own time and not really messing too much with that. I'm trying to decide, should I do... I guess I've been doing Mornfang on everyone else, so I'll keep that too. I'm gonna need more Mornfang Brown at the rate I'm going, man. Oh god, yeah, I'm almost out of Mornfang Brown, aren't I? That should be enough for now, though. Been using a lot of it with all these orcs. I mean, I've been using this is one of the first paints I got, so I've been using it for like 6 months, so realistically speaking, it's $4 for a pot of paint that's gonna last me 6, 8 months, maybe more. I can't really complain about that. So he's glued onto his base, but it's just a very light, tiny dot of super glue. This isn't how he's gonna stay on the base, because I like to do the bases without them standing on it. But this way I can have him on something while I paint him, and then I can just kind of pop him off to the base and then glue them back down. Do the top later. Yeah, I don't care, man. Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do, man. I did not prime his feet very well, I'll be honest. I know a spot on his leg that wasn't very well primed either, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Wish I could get animated emotes, but by the time they give animated emotes to affiliates, I might not even be streaming on Twitch anymore. Alright. Come on. I'm still learning to, like, not be terrible at keeping the guy. I don't know why the shadows are so harsh today. I did have to move my camera a little because the stupid little thing broke and I had to reaffix it with another clamp. What's up, Sensational? How you doing, man? So the camera might be a little off to the side more than normal. I don't really know if that's something I can fix without screwing everything up. Because I have to loosen the clamp. Give them the clamps. This is gonna really make it more of like at an angle. I might have to rethink the clamp altogether, but for now I'll just tighten it up here. I was just trying to not have that really harsh shadow there. I guess that's a little better. I'm gonna try to adjust the clamps though and see if I can get the camera a little more centered with the light. Yeah, both Royal and Tim Timma sent out some five gift sub bombs, and Corvina gifted a sub as well for September, which I greatly appreciate. Go ahead and do second coat on the pants. Probably the other thing too is when I stream painting, it seems like I go a lot slower. Probably because, you know, I'm talking to chat and watching chat and definitely distracted. Lately I haven't even really been watching anything while I paint. I've just been like sitting here in the quiet painting. Razor sharp focus. Yep. Only the best people around here. Because if they're not the best, I ban them. Just kidding. Usually only bots get banned around here. Which there's been a lot of on Twitch lately. Twitch is actually suing like 2 people over the bots. Better in stream compared to the pictures you show. Well, that's because the pictures I take are from my cell phone, which is garbage. Whereas this is my my Canon camera that I use for this, so when I actually take the time to take nice pictures with this camera, they look a lot better, but it's so much work to unhook everything from this thing to take it down to take, oh damn it, regular pictures that a lot of times I don't even bother. When I get all these guys done, or maybe half of them done, I might take some photos of them all together with my good camera. I have to fix my pants a little where I just spilled over. So these shots are Canon? Exactly. This is indeed Canon. The Beast Snagga boys are Canon. I really want to get them all finished. I have so much to paint. And I may or may not have ordered more orcs. Don't tell anybody. Shh, don't tell them. I'm not addicted. I can quit anytime I want. I'm working out doing stuff. Final Fantasy 14. Yeah. Alright, so that should be the final coat on both the pants and the boots. I'm gonna need to do the little red, well, the little tabard flappy thing that I've been painting in red. Give that extra little color pop. Like seeing the Final Fantasy 14 stuff, just not my cup of tea and playing, yeah. That makes sense. MMOs in general aren't really for everyone, but 14, it took me several times. Thing is, I've always enjoyed 14. It's just like every time I'd get into playing, like the people I was playing with would quit, and then like, well, I don't feel like playing this anymore, because what's the point? That's kind of the same with WoW, like, it's most fun when you have people to play with. You have, like, a party of people to do things with. Close my corn red up. I hate that. Every time I open that corn red, some of it pops out the back. I don't even want to know how much paint has been wasted because of these stupid pots and the way they're designed. It's time to wake up. Oh, these areas are such a pain to paint. Hey, no worries, man. Good to be excited about things. I'm excited about all the cool stuff. Usually I'm always just grinding myself out, and then if I finally get a new one, I grind hard and play the main story, but after that I usually clock out of them, yeah. I mean, I did that a lot too, as far as like I'd level up in an MMO, and then once I get to max level, once again, like if I didn't have people to play with, just be like, okay, well, I don't really have anything to do now because I don't want to go and raid with random people. Alright, start painting. These are the times where I have a really hard time staying in camera because I have to look really close. See, I already went onto my pants a little bit. I have to look really close to not go outside of my lines here on like the belts and things, and I end up pulling it close to me to see, and then I'm out of frame. Instead of being able to teleport, you not have to travel a million miles. Yeah, that too. I'm really excited about the regalia mount I got last night. It's the car from Final Fantasy 15. They have an event where you can get both Noctis's clothes from a quest line, and then you can buy the regalia mount with the casino money. And I've been saving for a while, so when it came out, I could afford it, and I did. I'm pretty stoked about that. I've been leveling my warrior, who got to 54 last night. It's also pretty exciting. I tanked a raid, which was terrifying, but it went okay. I only died a few times. One of which wasn't necessarily my fault. The others, I don't know if they were my fault, but one for sure wasn't my fault. Yeah, I love the regalia, it's super cool. I was like hardcore saving up to make sure I could afford it. Yeah, like I said, it went good overall. I had one death, which I'm pretty sure wasn't my fault, but I can't be 100% because I got behind the comet, but I was tanking an ad at the same time, so I don't know if I either wasn't all the way behind the comet or if it was the ad that killed me. Because I remember my health was below half, and then before I knew it, I was dead, so either the ad's damage killed me, or I wasn't all the way behind the comet, either way. And then the other time that wasn't my fault was because that last boss where the other tank wouldn't pull him where everyone kept telling him to pull, and then we had that far-ass run to the other side of the frickin' platform to get out of the thing, and of course, I was too far away to make it back in time. So after that point, I was like, whatever, and I just kind of stayed over towards our side. Didn't even bother to go back. It's not like they were going to miss out on my little bit of DPS on the boss. And I wanted to make sure that I was alive to tank my ad when it popped. Alright. Belts all the way around. Done. I'm trying to do this in like a quicker way. Yeah, they were rude. They thought it was funny that everyone had to run so far. But it is what it is. Get over. If you hear random weird noises, I'm shaking paints. Gotta shake your paints well before you open them. Ideally. Right. Now. No. base coat this with Rhinox hide, which is a darker brown. And then we will we'll wash it and highlight it, and hopefully it'll have a nice like leathery hide look when I'm finished. The plan anyway. I don't really ever have a game plan when I paint a model. I very rarely go in with like an idea of how I'm gonna do everything. I usually just figure it out as I'm going. Sometimes it doesn't work out. I had the one orc model that's still unpainted sitting here that I had to completely redo his skin base coat because I tried something new and it did not work. And there was no way I could really fix it, so I just went over it. And downside to that is I lost some definition in the model because I have a bunch of coats of paint on it now. So some of the smaller details kind of got worn out. But, you know, you gotta experiment. If I really cared that much, I could strip the paint off. There's Raven sent me a thing a while back of like some kind of cleaner you can soak them in that'll strip the paint off, but that's a lot of effort, and it's just a basic regular Beast Snaggle Boy, so it's not like the end of the world if he doesn't look perfect. Like, I'm already kind of second guessing this coloring because now that I'm looking at these weird webbed spines on the top, I'm thinking maybe this should have been more of another lizardy color like a green or something, but we've already base coated most of it. I'm not turning back now. I'll switch to my smaller brush to get that part. Yeah, so now my goal in Final Fantasy is to just continue leveling my warrior, doing my PvP roulettes. I'm up to like 17,000 and something PvP marks. I'm debating on if I want to just save to 20,000 and get the mount and kind of get that out of the way, and then go back to collecting for glam gear again. So I'm trying to get, there's a little bit of the hide that overhangs in the front. I was trying to make sure I painted that. Without hitting his skin, if possible. So I don't have to repaint his skin anywhere. Which I always end up hitting something. Everything's just so close to each other. Just touched his belt right there, but that's okay because I gotta touch up. I have to touch up this belt anyway. Yeah, well, I figured I might get the mount out of the way first since it's 20,000, and then I can go back to working on the glam stuff. But I'm still thinking about it. I can do a couple more roulettes before I cap out and have to decide. I was just kind of thinking if I'm capping out already anyways, I might as well just get them out and get it out of the way. back and touch that belt up when I'm done. Before I wash everything. I'll go ahead and paint that. I'm not going to leave these spines brown, but I'll go ahead and do a coat of brown. All the same. Eventually, I'd like to get back to having like a schedule again, in which case I could set up like designated nights where I know that I'm gonna do like paint nights. I want to get back to like we have, you know, so like if one night's paint night, and then like one night's like Final Fantasy night, and then like one night is maybe dedicated to retro games, something like along those lines. But I mean, life would have to be essentially completely back to normal for me to try to do a schedule again. The schedules are a pain in the ass to adhere to otherwise. Because then I always feel shitty if I have to cancel. Whereas now, if I don't have like a schedule, it doesn't really matter if I cancel. Because I'm not actually canceling because I don't have a schedule. You get it. Yeah, I know life is never normal. I need to just try to figure it out because that's essentially what I'm gonna end up doing is keep saying, well, when things get back to normal, and then things are never gonna get back to normal, and I'm never gonna stream regularly again. I definitely will at the very latest by the time Altair is supposed to launch. Because I do want to start over there with a set schedule. Not that I care about like trying to grow viewership or anything, it would make me feel better. Fresh start having a schedule. I went a little too far up, that's fine. When I wash it, you won't be able to really notice. Scheduling my schedule, essentially. That's basically what I'm doing. You sleeping? I can't see where this ends. It's bothering me. Sometimes I have a hard time defining where these lines are. I try not to paint outside the lines if I can, because then it just looks crappy. Paint the underside. One thing I kept forgetting on the other guys, they're like standing up. Like their feet are off the ground, so you have to remember to paint the undersides of their boots too. Which normally I don't ever paint the underside of their boots because they get glued to the base and no one's ever gonna see them. So all the paint really does is get in the way. I think is another reason why people like to go ahead and glue the models down beforehand and then base around them. Some people do, but I just find it a lot easier to base with nothing on it. And then I can set the model on top, and then if I decide I want to add anything to the model after, or add to the base after the model's on it, I can, but I think I got that whole boot. Alright. Are there any little clasps? That one doesn't seem to have any clasps. belt buckle. Trying to hit my red cloth, which I really should have done another coat on. Ooh, there's some red cloth up top too, damn. I'm probably gonna end up having to redo this metallic. I did not realize there was more cloth up there. What's that? I can't tell. Oh, that's that. It's okay. We'll figure it out. Remember when I said I don't ever have a plan? I don't. I just wing it, and that's part of the reason why I always have to go back and paint around things and then fix things when I accidentally touch them. But it's no problem. I got to paint the underside of this boot. Alright, I need to paint the rest of that cloth and touch up a couple other areas. So what's new with you guys? I know none of you do any of this kind of Warhammer stuff like I do, so let's talk about something that y'all want to talk about. So I'm gonna have to get in here kind of close because this is a really, really tiny piece of fabric here. And I don't mind repainting the metallic, but I really don't want to repaint skin. Because trying to touch up skin after it's already been shaded and highlighted and everything is kind of a huge pain. Alright, I need to... supposed to be his belt in there. And then his belt loop needs to be the color of his pants. Even though it's kind of a weird place to have a belt loop. With the red thing going under it and all, but it is what it is. I'll have to come back and hit that other spot too. Basically, when I find spots like that where I need to come back, I'll just like go ahead and move on to something else, and then when it what I just did dries, I can come back and hit that. I didn't know if this would work, but it seems to be. This is black from I used from last night. Seems to be working though. It's a little thin. Nice thing about the wet palette is your paint will generally stay usable for a couple days, but because the palette is wet, the paint will get kind of watery. That. Did I ever touch up? I don't think I ever touched up his back belt in here. I do have a system for this. In case you're wondering, there's a reason why I'm doing. So I'm gonna use a wash, which you hadn't really been following before when I painted. Washes are like shaders that are basically super thin down paints almost with a little bit of color in them, and when you paint them over stuff, they kind of go into the recesses and create shading naturally, just like, should I just touch the skin a little bit? Damn it. But because they fall into like the recesses, it pools a little bit and it creates darker spots where it's recessed in the muscles or wrinkles of clothes or whatever else, and you can kind of get quick, easy shading. So I'm gonna wash basically all this stuff, but I'm gonna wash the parts that I'm painting now all with the same wash. So if I get it all painted at the same time, I can wash it all together, because the wash can take up to like 20 minutes to dry. That way I can just do it all at once and wait all at once. My brown is already getting super thin down on this palette, which is making this difficult. I have to touch up a couple areas on the skin that I've accidentally bumped. Had work things, I'm good, maybe going fantasy work's going well, living my best life. That's awesome, man. It's good to hear. That is exactly what I like to hear. It's taking a little more to cover since paint's kind of thin, but go ahead and throw a little more red on this before I shade it, just so it's these little kind of almost black going through is nice and covered. Just try to be careful not to and I say that, I mean, it's not the end of the world if I have to retouch something up. It's just like I try to avoid it as much as I can so it saves me time. The more I have to touch things up, the more time I waste, essentially. So, all of the clothes that I've painted, so the boots, pants, the belts, the hide, little cloth thing, all that is gonna get washed with Agrax Earthshade, which is a great wash for orcs in general. I even actually used it on his skin because it was a nice wash for that too. And basically it's gonna, not only is it gonna give it shading, but it's gonna make it look almost a little dirty and grungy, which is, well, what orcs are, essentially, so. It's just kind of, you do have to be kind of careful with this because it will try to pool. And if you let it pool and don't fix it, it'll stain. And you can make it look really not good. So Try to just work it all over everything. But as you're working it, you're kind of pulling it towards the recesses and off of the more raised areas. So at the top of his leg, I'm pulling it off. I'm moving it over here to kind of go more around these stitches. Making sure it gets into like the wrinkles of the boots. Make sure I get underneath too, just so it's all the same tone. It seems like the easiest thing in the world, but you learn really fast that like if you don't do it right, it can be your absolute worst enemy. Because it can take a model that looked nice before you washed and make it look like garbage. That should be good. Do the top. I don't know how much this is actually going to shade my back piece here, because it's kind of it's already a dark brown, so trying to shade it with a dark brown wash probably isn't going to do a ton. We're going to get most of our texture on this from dry brushing. But still, we want to do it. Alright, I gotta quickly switch to my other brush so I can get into some of these harder to reach areas with the wash and not get it all over his skin, because his skin has already been washed, so if I get more wash on it, it's gonna look really bad. Alright. Do his little wrist thing here. Oh, I just got some on his skin after I said I didn't want to get any on his skin. Wrist isn't the end of the world, though. I think we're pretty good there. Alright, so we gotta let that dry. It's gonna take a hot minute. And depending on what dries first, we can start doing some highlights. And like I could start doing his weapons. I don't really want to do his shoulder, because with the wet wash right next to it, if I'm trying to do purple and I touch the wash, that wash will like pull the purple pigment towards it and it'll get on the hide and it'll look crappy. So instead of risking that, instead we'll do the weapons, which are nowhere close to anything. Get a nice coat of metallics. Shit, I forgot to do his other wrist, I just noticed. He has another wristband. You know what, that's kind of spiky. Ah shit, it's got stitching. I was gonna say I could just do that metallic too, but it's got stitching on it, so that'll be a no-go. We'll fix that. We'll fix it in post. I say that because it doesn't make sense. So I've been doing with the weapons, which I really like, and it may be a little boring, but again, it makes them look kind of uniform, and I like it. As I've been base coating them with a metallic, in this case lead belcher, and then I've been doing a Nuln oil wash, and then I've been going over it with Black Templar contrast paint, and it gives it this really cool like black metal I don't really know exactly how to describe it. Like grungy black metal. It's not like pure black like I did with my chaos weapons, which I think would look maybe a little too clean on the orcs. But it's also just not plain metallic to where it's like, you know, boring like that. Like just, it's like a nice in between, I think. And basically I tried it once and I was like, hey, that looks pretty cool. I like that. I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm just gonna do all my Beast Snagga Boy weapons like that and make them all nice and uniform. Trying to get the handle pieces without touching my skin. What about you, Pew Pew? Have you been still playing Final Fantasy, or you've been into other stuff lately? I know we played together the other night, but I mean like on the regular. Oh shit, this is a pain. Just 14? Well, that's cool. That's basically all I've been playing when I'm not painting, so I feel that. Just touched his knuckle a little bit with that, but it's fine. It's not the end of the world. Alright, gun metallic is done, so let's go ahead and do his axe. The axes I've also been doing uniform. For the same reason I did one and I really liked the way it looks, so I said I'm gonna do them all that way. I thought about doing that with the skin just because, like, at first I said I want to do all the skins different, and then I was like, man, this is gonna take forever. Maybe I shouldn't do them all different. But then I tried like some different skin colors, and I'm like, man, this is actually really cool. They're gonna look nice all different. So I don't know, man. Don't ask me. I've been playing Star Wars: The Old Republic. Heard a lot of good things about it from the figure if I keep playing till Endwalker, I'll burn myself out. I'm gonna take time off in October, most likely. I forgot Star Wars: The Old Republic is by EA, so I changed my mind, yeah. I enjoyed Star Wars: The Old Republic. Crystal tried it too, and she thought it was fun. You know what you did. I said, you know what you did. And I said that you tried Star Wars: The Old Republic before. Yeah. Yeah, I played it a lot. I had a few high-level characters. But yes, it is EA, so there's that caveat. But anymore, I mean, you can't escape between Blizzard and all their crap. I tried to get into Elder Scrolls Online several times and never could. Don't know why, because I love the Elder Scrolls games, but Elder Scrolls Online just never pulled me like that. I'd play it for a little bit and I'd get bored. I just have an account for the game, but who knows what the logins are for that. Yeah, that's always a struggle. I still have my logins for Lineage 2 though, which are even older than World of Warcraft. I logged into that when they had the most recent update to see if it was worth a damn, which of course it's not, but I had to try. Alright, so we got metallics on the weapons, or at least the base coat of metallics on the weapons. Let that dry. Wash is still drying a little bit. What was it that time? Yeah, hold on. Okay, you have a chance to watch what I sent you the other night. I watched up to the tag cage match was as far as I got, which is pretty far. It was pretty far. But I finished that match. Which that match was insane. That was nutty. But yeah, so I watched a fair amount of it, but I haven't finished it yet. Alright, so I think what I'm gonna do, honestly, I haven't really been doing anything with the boots lately, as far as like trying to highlight them. Yeah, it had some great moments for sure. Some crazy moments and some great moments. I like the way it ended up though. I was happy with the ending. All I've really been doing with the highlighting on the pants too was just kind of using the base color a little bit to bring some of the wash off of it. Because I mean, they're like cloth pants, they're not really going to have a shine to them, so I don't really know how much I can do without making them look weird. Most successful show yet, which isn't really surprising because they basically started right when COVID happened, yeah. Yeah, I need to finish the rest of it for sure. But I enjoyed everything I watched up to that point. It's really wet. I'm gonna have to dab this a little bit. Since I'm gonna do this bracelet in the darker brown. Yeah, it's really cool. It's hard for me because like I stopped watching WWE before a lot of these guys that are big in AEW showed up. So a lot of them, like, I know who they are, but I didn't really watch wrestling anymore while they were popular. So it's still kind of for me like watching them for the first time. Like, you know, CM Punk, like I know who he is, but I was not watching wrestling anymore when he came on the scene, so. Just, I'm gonna have a shiny with all my clothing. I dyed gunmetal black for the leather effect. Well, yeah, I mean, if you're going for a leather effect, for sure. Leather is a bitch to paint. I ain't gonna lie, I hate painting leather. Especially black leather. Brown leather is not bad. But black leather is so hard to paint. Because, like, how do you shade black? The only way to shade black is with like blues and other colors, lighter colors. And like what happens with black leather when it's hit with direct light? It almost looks white in person. So how do you replicate that? It's hard. I've tried to watch videos on it. It's not something I've really been able to grasp all that well, if I'm being honest. I know it's off topic from what you're talking about, but it made me think about it. I want to learn how to paint all this stuff really well, I guess is what I'm saying. I want to be the very best. No one ever was. To paint minis is my dream, and to glaze them is my cause. I don't know. Oh, this armband is in the worst spot ever. Just hit his arm, son, right there. Should have rotated him. I was just trying to keep what I was doing in frame, but I should have just spun him around. So that's what I like about AEW on like WCW or TNA. They're balancing the old and the new talent very well so far. Yeah. Yeah, cause like I know John Moxley. Like I'm familiar with him. Obviously Jericho. I know Jericho. I'm trying to think of who else is out there. Alright, so we got that armband done. I'm gonna have to throw some wash on that. Alright, here's the plan. Let's grab our Nuln Oil. The liquid gold of shading. Because, I mean, shit, you can use Nuln Oil for just about anything if you really want to. Just throw this on the gun. Get that all over. This is like our base shading. Oh shit. It's okay, I forgive you. I forgive you. Oh, really? Okay. Okay. If we have to, I guess. I mean, that's the only reason. That's literally the only reason I'm gonna go. Yeah. Gizmo, what's your deal, bro? Bro, Montana. Oh yeah, Matt Hardy, Christian, yeah, I know them. I didn't see them with what I had watched, so I forgot about them. But yeah, definitely both of those. Edge and Christian and the Hardy brothers back in the day. Okay. Well, mostly you. But mostly you. Just the one day. Obviously wasn't at the show. Sure remember. Oh yeah, Mark Henry, Paul White, Sting. Yeah. Those names definitely all. Now that you're saying it, like I've seen them in AEW promos, I guess because what I watched the other night didn't have any of them in it. At least up to the point that I had watched. Damn it, Straw, get back down in there. DDP and Billy Gunn are also in AEW, but aren't as present. I mean, they're old, man. I don't expect too much out of the older guys. Like, their bodies have got to be in rough shape. I was thinking that about Matt Hardy, because, man, those guys put themselves through a lot of shit back in the day. Bless you. Sorry, I'm trying to get this shade on here. I'm not going to be able to show this because it's very difficult to do without getting it everywhere, and I kind of did anyway. Damn it. Honestly, I wouldn't know most of these guys either. I haven't to watch. What was that the New Japan something? Japanese wrestling, yeah. A couple years before Kenny and Co. left, went to make their own thing. New Japan Pro Wrestling, okay. I knew it was New Japan something. I'm sorry. Yeah, that'll do it. Oh, that's good. Alright, so I'm gonna take a lighter color red. Just do a little bit of highlighting on his cloak thing. Which again, I don't really do a ton. I usually just try to like, I hit the edge, I hit the little ridges, which is kind of a pain in the ass to do. The little tiny ridges. Which gives them a bit of a brighter color. Because, I mean, more light's gonna be hitting them. Might even do a chunky line right there. A lot of lights hitting right there. Yeah. Give it that chunky line. And I'll hit the top, maybe a little bit more. Hit the top up here. Since the light's definitely going to be catching this ridge. And that just gives that a little more. I know it's hard to see. Gives it a little bit more definition. We can see the light. I'm also going to go in, since I've got this color red, and do his eyes, which are always one of my least favorite things to do. I heard Jericho appeared in NJPW, so I was like, unfortunately I had to miss. I just missed that. I keep watching anyway because I like what I saw. I got to know Kenny, what's so on. Ah, yeah, that happens. Alright, freaking eyeballs, dude. Ugh. It's like trying to paint the top of a pinhead while not touching anything else around it. I think we succeeded, more or less. I know it's hard to see on camera, but I kind of need a little more on this side, but I always have this thing where like I get it and I'm like, yeah, I got it, and then it's like I need a little more, and then I go to put in a little more and I hit somewhere I didn't want to hit. But I also don't want my orcs to look cross-eyed. Not that that would necessarily be weird for an orc to be cross-eyed, but yeah, I'm gonna finish that because it was really good. Alright, so we've got eyes, we've got some shading on the cloak. Again, I'm not going real extra with the shading because It's whatever. These are just infantry guys. Before I do anything else, I think I'm going to go ahead and dry brush the back piece, just so I can do it before I paint anything else and possibly ruin it. So I'm going to grab some of my Mornfang brown. Oh, do I want to do... Ooh, hold on. I'm not going to do Mornfang brown. I'm going to do Scrag brown. Oh, I think that'll look really nice. Gizmo, go lay down. You're a pain in the ass, Gizmo. I hope you know that. Shit. I got too much on there. Oh well. It'll be alright. We'll drop a little on the palette and then we'll take the rest over here. Dry brushing is awesome. It's one of the best, almost cheating techniques. I say it's almost like cheating because it works so well. Gotta make sure you have most of your paint off the brush. And then we dry brush our lighter color over the top. Trying to be careful not to hit anything outside of what we're working on. Some of these areas are kind of tough and I might have to get a smaller brush. Because otherwise I'm going to hit like everything in the vicinity. Luckily I haven't painted his hair yet, so I don't have to worry about that. I haven't painted his shoulder pad either. This is why I said I wanted to do this before I paint it anymore, because now I don't have to worry about hitting his shoulder pad and screwing that up, or hitting his hair. I do have to worry about his head. I have to use a different brush for the front. Get in there. I want it a little heavier on some of these areas. Like on his back and the top up here, it should be heavier because there's going to be more light hitting up there than on this side. And basically you can see that kind of gives it a like a worn hide / leather. I'm going to do these spines and some of this other stuff differently. So they're not going to look exactly like this, but... I bet. Started watching AEW this first, so no means watching myself after years, so I saw it popping up in one of, let's say, freebooter sites, and yeah. Hey man, that's what, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm just gonna put a little bit of paint on this brush, kind of dry, and just lightly swipe it here, so I can get some of that highlight in this tight area. I'm not quite dry brushing because I don't want to ruin this brush, even though it's not like a brush I use a lot of. It's more so like just a tiny bit of paint on the brush so that I'm very lightly kind of going over. think it looks pretty good. I mean, it's not great by any means, but it looks okay. Alright, so now that that's done, I don't know what I want to do the spines. I might just do good old Xandri dust like I had been doing, because that's just a good basic like bone and claw. And touching here is still a pain enough to not only pay for cable, buy a certain TV package that would give me the ability to purchase TNT. Yeah, cable sucks that way. They don't make it easy. That's how ours is. We have to pay for like a certain package to be able to get the channels we want to see. And then there's like an extra smaller package that we buy to get some extra things. And it's like, I wish I could just pick the things that I want and not pay for all the things I don't want. But that's how they get you. Hey Vlad, what's up, dude? How the heck are you? Good to see you. Doing good? It's good to hear, man. I'm doing pretty good, you know, just the usual. And working and painting a crap load of orcs. And then getting more orcs and getting further behind because I have too much to paint. Playing some Final Fantasy 14 online with the friends in the spare time. And that's basically it. What's new with you? I don't know exactly how I want to do these spines, but we're just gonna hit the tops of them with some Xandri dust, and then we'll see what shakes. I don't really know. I might want to leave some of them looking like they're under the skin. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I've been trying. It's a lot of practice. You know what they say, practice makes perfect, and I don't know about perfect, but it's definitely helping. I wonder... Because see, some of these are definitely partially under the skin. Some of them it's hard to tell if they are or not. Once I wash them, it'll kind of blend them in a little. Do a little spot shade, but... Got so many freaking paints on my thing, I don't know what's what anymore. Some time off work, realized I hadn't more than a day or two for 2 years. Been working on a review for an upcoming game. Nice, dude. Exciting stuff. And time off is always important. I get like holidays off, but I try to also take time off here and there just for sanity's sake. Or to get stuff done around the house, or, you know, whatever. Alright, now I'm going to use some Black Templar contrast paint, which I'm going to water down a little bit. And we're going to put that on the gun and get that effect that I was talking about earlier. I wish I could get some time off myself, yeah. Because I was still on my leave when I was remodeling and gotten used to not having any, so I just wasn't taking time off. Oh, that makes sense. Alright, so the gun you can see we painted with metallic and then we shaded it with some Nuln Oil. I'm going to take this Black Templar contrast paint and we're essentially going to wash it over top of everything. And it's going to look kind of weird when we first do it. But when it dries, it's going to have a really neat effect. Trying to keep it at an angle so that you guys can actually see what the hell I'm doing. Because I'm bad about painting and like taking everything out of frame. I just painted his finger. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm gonna do that part, but I'm probably gonna end up repainting that anyway. The little hook at the bottom. Fingers is kind of a hard spot because I really don't want to have to repaint his fingers. Alright, I get the underside. Plug the gun barrel that I took the time to drill out. Alright, cool. Playing video games all day is so exhausting, yeah. Alright, so it's hard to tell now because it's wet. But when it dries, and then we dry brush it, it gives it this kind of effect here, which is probably still not super easy to see. But see, it looks kind of like black metal that's been worn really bad. And that's what I'm going for with that. So when it dries, it'll look similar to that, and then I'll brush some metallic over top of it and it'll give it that look. The axe, on the other hand, gets its own whole paint scheme that's going to be also just like these guys, where it's I'll paint the checkerboards on it and stuff. Which I might actually start working on that now, because I don't think... Well, actually, it looks like I need to apply some more lead belcher to that. It doesn't look like it covered as well as I would have liked. I said, I know most of you watching are not painters and probably will never paint, but I still think it's fun to kind of explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it, just for the sake of doing it. Just put another metallic coat, because part of this is going to stay this metallic color. Part of it I'm going to paint over with the checks, but then part of it I'm going to paint over with other metallic colors, and it's actually easier to get those metallic colors to show nicely if the lead belcher is on it. Because some of the metallics, like when you try to paint over the black primer, they just don't want to cover the black primer for anything. I can't decide on those spines what I want to do. Alright, well, I'll see you guys when you both get back. Alright, I think I'm gonna think I'm gonna wash those tips and see what it looks like. Grab some Agrax Earthshade. Throw it on the tips here. Probably go ahead and throw it on these little spike doohickey things too. Claws or whatever the hell they're supposed to be. Kind of dull them down some. Because I like for these things to look like old and dingy and all that. I don't want them to look like it's fresh bone. Or whatever the hell it is, claws. Give me that grunge. Give me that sweet orc grunge. Alright, so that's good, that's good. Guess I could start painting his shoulder pad while I wait to make absolutely sure that that metallic is dry. I'm going to use Phoenician purple. That's what I've been using for my shoulder pads for the base. And then I highlight it with, I think it's Gene Stealer purple. Or edge highlight it and all that. Tell you what, man, you think your depth perception is good until you start trying to paint these things, and you realize your depth perception ain't that good. Because I find myself bumping things all the time, so I don't realize that I'm as close to them as I am. I'm like, damn it. I just bumped his arm or his other piece of armor or something. Now, granted, these things are tiny, so it's not like I'm working with a lot of space here, but still. I really need a new size 2 brush, which is what this brush is. This one's getting kind of worn and hard to... The tip used to be really nice and sharp on it, and it is absolutely beaten down these days. Ooh, man. I think I like doing it this way though, painting skin ahead of time on like 3-4 models, and then coming back and doing like the clothes and the armor. I mean, it's not any quicker. I'm still essentially doing the same steps, I guess, but I think it's just easier for me to sit down and in that time frame, I can knock out what feels like more. Like in the case of this, I wouldn't be able to do a whole miniature from start to finish in this amount of time normally, because I'm kind of a slow painter still. But being that the skim was already done, when I started on him, I just went straight to doing his clothes, and that really saved me some time. So I think in the future I might do that again. Take like 3-4 of these guys, do all their skin at once. I can come through and work on the rest of them just one thing at a time. Alright, so that's gonna be drying. We can start working on... I don't know how I'm gonna do the checks on this one because the back end of the axe is nowhere near as big on this, so I can do it. It's just not gonna be as recognizable as it was on the other axes. It should be fine though. So I don't actually use white at first, I use gray sear because it just covers better than white does. In my experience. What? Hold on. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Where was I? Oh yeah, so gray sear. You made him this way. Mm-hmm. Angle of this axe is making this harder than the other one was too, but we will prevail. I have been going over this with a white too after I put 2 coats down. I don't think you necessarily have to. I like to do it because I go over the whole weapon with Agrax Earthshade, which is going to darken it. So if you leave it with the gray, it's not going to be as bright, and it can kind of wash out some of the detail of the checks. So I just like to do that, and then I'll go over it with some white scar, which is super bright white. And then I'll do my checks. The only real design I've tried to paint by hand thus far is the Goth Orc check design. I have transfer sheets for things I might use in the future. I'd like to use them on the vehicles probably more than anything. Just because I think that would be the best place to really use them. These guys, the shoulder pads are about the only spot I'd be able to really put any transfers on, realistically speaking. I'll go ahead and grab my Gene Stealer purple. Mix that in with the other purple a little bit. So I can do... I'm running out of space because I have all these paints in the way now. So I'm going to run along the edge, kind of thick. Because I'm going to come back with a thinner highlight later. I hate doing these inside ones so much. So you can't just run it along the edge like you can on the outside. I'm really just doing this in between the spines since they're right on the edge. All right. Now we take the pure Gene Stealer purple. Now's the hard part. I'm gonna go essentially right along the edge with this. It's really hard to do on these inside ones for me. Sorry, when I struggle is when I really get out of frame, because I'm having a hard time in myself to get where I need to get. So I end up pulling it really close to my face. Alright, that's pretty good. And then what I also like to do is take some of that and I do like some little, just like flicks with the tip of the brush. Oh, that was way too thick. I did that way too thick. That'll be alright. Basically to try to make it look like little scratches. But like, you can do some scratches with the metallic. But light scratches wouldn't be straight to metallic, they would be like the lighter purple showing through underneath. So I try to do some but it's hard to get just right without it looking weird. Alright, so that part's done. We can let that dry while we put on our white scar layer over the gray sear. I gotta shake the whites really good because they are chunky. I don't know why the white paints get so chunky, but I thought it was an issue with my paints at first until I looked online, and apparently it's a fairly common problem. I don't know how easy this will be to see on camera, but yeah, you really can. There's a big difference between the gray and the white. Like, you can see it big time once I lay the white on top of the gray. The gray looks like white until you put white on top of it, and you're like, oh shit, that's way brighter. And that's why I do it that way when I do the wash over top of it. It doesn't absolutely kill the color and make it just look like brown. I'm having the hardest time doing this to where I can show it on camera. I'm used to just like wiggling it around whichever way I need to get the painting done. Alright, let that dry. I didn't do the inside because that's fine looking darker because it's going to be like in the shadow, so no worries on that. Once that dries, we'll draw our check marks. But for now, I'm going to grab Retributor armor. It's kind of like a goldish color. I'm going to do the raised part in the middle like I did with the other axes. Some of these paints away because they're piling up. I put all my paints away when I'm done at the end of the night, but when I start painting, like by the time I'm finished my paint session, there's just like a full desk of paints everywhere. It's just too much of a pain to keep pulling them out and putting them back, especially when I go back later and find myself needing a color multiple times. Just keep it out on the desk and grab it as I need it. I just shook really bad when I did that. Hello, Corvina. Thank you for being here. Still the #1 fan. After all these years. Come on, Retributor armor. Alright, nice little pop there in the middle. I mean, yeah, you do. I say that all the time. You don't have to watch. I tell you all the time you don't have to watch. I will put Retributor armor back because I shouldn't need that again. Where is my brass? There it is. Rune Lord brass, to be specific. And this is kind of along the same lines here. I like to do everything on the weapon, so that way, when I go to shade it, I can just shade the whole thing and don't have to worry about it. I promise one day I'll get better at streaming this. I don't know when that'll be, but eventually we'll get better at this. Alright. I said thank you. Exactly what I said. Alright, so the white's looking kind of shitty. I might do another layer of white actually. I wasn't going to, but I feel like I should. It's looking, oh, that's Terminator stone. Or Terminata stone. Terminate stone. What the hell? I just had. There's nothing worse than when you just had a paint and you set it back down and then you don't know what you did with it. And that's what just happened. I have no idea where that paint I had went. Oh, it's because I put it back and I put it back in the wrong spot. Hi, Pew Pew. In my infinite genius, that happened, so. Okay, never really get smooth coverage with white, but it's not a big deal because I'm gonna do the check design and then the wash, and you're not really gonna notice if it's not perfect anyway. I forgot to do a piece on this, so after I just got through saying I'll put Retributor armor away because I won't need it, then I realized I missed a spot on both sides of the weapon. Oh god, no, I just touched that. Damn it. I cannot win. It's fine. I'll go over that with the black. No one will ever see it. Alright. That's done. Put that back. This is another hard part because I gotta make sure not only that I keep it off the shoulder pad, but that I don't hit the damn leather behind it. And I just hit the shoulder pad. I just said that. That's okay. Easy enough touch up. I'll fix it. I'm not having, I'm having so much trouble because I'm streaming and I'm trying to like keep him in the camera shot while I'm painting, and like I'm holding him at a weird angle because of it. Because I haven't found a really good way to paint and stream at the same time yet. Probably because I don't do it a ton, which would help. Because like when I pulled the camera too far this way, then when I was doing stuff I was going too far out this way. And it's like I could zoom out a little, but then you end up being so far away that you can't see as close in the details and stuff, so sometimes it just feels like I can't win. Need some more red. All right. Red spines. Thanks, Pew Pew. We're getting there, slowly but surely. I'm gonna go ahead and paint the check marks, or the checkerboard design on the axe, like I've been doing on my other ones. This is not going to be an easy thing to do on stream at all, so I apologize in advance. You can't exactly see what I'm doing, but some of these paints out of the way. So let's pick a starting point in the middle. Now, kind of want the break to be somewhere here. Alright, so basically, you see I've painted lines. Black lines on the white. And then what I do is I pick one and I color it in. Shoot, 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 like so. And then we just kind of go through and diagonal each box. We fill it in. Which can be a bit of a pain in the ass to try to draw this small. However, it most definitely is worth it because it gives that little extra something. And that's basically it. See, now it's got a little checkerboard design on the back of the axe. And we do the same thing. I always continue it across the top too, just to make sure it looks nice and uniform. And then we go to the other side and we do the same thing, which, oh, this is not gonna be fun at all, is it? Because of the way this damn axe is angled, this is not gonna be fun. However, I am not about to... I started doing this and I really liked it and I am not about to change. Just because of a inconvenience, so we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it bacon. Alright. Do it roughly the same way on this side. Try not to screw up a paint job. If I have to touch up the metallics though, I will. This is just kind of a weird angle. His axe is kind of like tilted inward towards his body. So like I'm having to try to get the brush in there at a very awkward way. And there we go. And we'll just do like we'll paint, you know, the back of the axe handle a little bit here and there to do the same thing, give it that. Alright. And now he will match the other orcs. So I did that, I gotta do the handle. When I started painting originally, I painted everything disassembled. Even the basic orc units I had, I painted in pieces. And their arms and their torsos and everything. Like, I think I would assemble their torso and their legs together. But like their arms, their heads, all that stuff I would paint. individually. Because I was just like, I do not want to even attempt to do stuff like I'm doing right now. Eventually I got to the point where I'm like, this is taking way too much time and I'm not going to get better at it if I don't start just doing it. So I started assembling the models fully, with the exception of the ones that I thought would be way too much of a pain in the ass. And just doing it, as Shia LaBeouf would say. Let's get some teeth painted here. I really do not like the way his teeth are. I just hit his lip. Having a hard time getting in here next to his arm to do these teeth over here. I have to just go in and touch up his lip when I'm finished. It's gonna be easier to touch up his lip than to sit here and try to worry too much about not hitting it, because it's gonna be just about impossible. This tooth, I'm like, I think I might just leave it as is. I have to grab some like Elysian green and try to fix his lip, where I accidentally dabbed it. You need me to get him? Are you sure? He's very often in the way. And Gizmo? I agree. It's not my fault. No, because I always offer to move him, and you're like, no, he's so sweet and so handsome. It's the apple of my eye. Alright, that should be dry, so we're gonna wash it. And then while the wash is dry, I'll work on some other details. Probably gonna do everything but the base. I probably won't worry about the base at all tonight because it's already almost 8 and I'm gonna have to pack up and everything. Alright, so same thing. We're gonna take our Agrax Earthshade Wash. We're gonna go all over this. We're gonna especially try to get it into the recesses and in the little parts next to things, but I actually do want a little to pool up on this one because I want that grunge look. I want it to look like dirty and, you know, grimy. Like he's been carrying this thing for weeks, you know, hacking stuff up. Because if I didn't want that look, I wouldn't use this. I'd use like Nuln Oil or something to just get a shade effect. But this leaves that like brownish kind of tinge to it. It makes it look like it's got a film of dirt and stuff on it. It's hard to tell now because it's wet, but... Alright, so while that's drying, we need to... Yeah, actually, I'm going to use some Iron Hand Steel for this. Hey, DJ, what's going on? Yeah, we'll use some Iron Hand Steel for some of this stuff. Instead of Lead Belcher. Oh, another one of my least favorite things to try to do. And thank you for the follow, I appreciate it. Oh. Well, I don't have earbuds anymore. Yeah. No. Alright. Done up paints a 40k myself. Ah, awesome. What are you painting? And I am doing pretty good. I am just trying to get some of these Beast Snaggle Boys painted up because I am just so far behind on everything, which is the story of my life. Or should I say my story of the last 6 months, because I've only been painting miniatures for about 6 months now. I started end of March, beginning of April, so still relatively new to all this. Although I don't know when you stop considering yourself new to this. I don't know. I feel like I'm just new compared to people who have been into this for 10, 20 years. So we got the tops of all these spikes painted. Let's rotate, try to get the bottom. Trying to get my Indomitus Marines finished up. His Black Templars. Painting up the bikes right now. Nice. Well, like I said, I'm fairly new to all this. I just started collecting at the end of March, beginning of April, mainly doing Orks. I do have some Chaos Space Marines. I picked up the Start Collecting Chaos Space Marine box, and I painted a bunch of those up. And then I've been getting a lot of other Ork boxes since then. Orky things. Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been trying new skin on these guys. Just trying to get some variety. I did, so this is, of course, the knob. I did his in like a really bright skin tone. And then I did this guy with a brown skin tone. Which I don't know, I'm sorry if you can't see it all that well. My lighting situation is meant more for painting than streaming, but you know. So I did that guy, and then this guy also has kind of a light skin tone. It's not as bright as the knob, but it's kind of similar. And then I'm gonna do... The other one is more of like a green shade. He's gonna look more similar to like this guy, which is the Commando knob from Kill Team, which I also bought. Because like I said, I'm quickly getting addicted to this. But yeah, I'm working on painting the Kill Team stuff as well, as I have time. I've only got like 5 of those painted so far though. This is my first jump into the hobby as well. I haven't painted in about a year, just got back into it last week. Oh, well, welcome back. That's always good to hear. It's more hard to see without sneaky purple. So that's gonna be my tie-in color. Since I decided to do the different skin tones, and I'm doing like the hides and the furs different colors, I'm using my purple shoulder pads as a way to kind of tie everything in, along with the red spikes and highlights, as well as I am painting the goth checks on their weapons and things, since that's what I had planned on playing my Orks as. I have not actually played a game yet, because I mean, obviously my army is still in progress of being made and painted. See, I'm using that as a way to kind of tie everything together. Alright, so got that. I need to... I wonder what I should do for it. I think for the other guy's mohawk thing I had done it metallic. Definitely makes sense for Orks to be more unique looking between each model, so I dig that concept. Yeah, I just figured it would make them look a little more fun and exciting. I kind of did the same thing with my my squig buggy that I just finished. I got it actually as a gift for my birthday, but I didn't want to do like a specific color scheme, so I'm like, I'm gonna paint it all kinds of colors, and basically just painted it like an array. So we've got purple, we've got some gunmetal blue, there's some dark deep green on the back, there's some red, there's some yellows, there's just a little bit of everything. Kind of make it look like it's scrapped together almost. But I'm really happy with how this thing came out. It's probably one of my favorite things I've done so far. It's hard to get good angles and everything on here. I have an Instagram that has like, I try to post my pictures and things on there when I finish models. Do I have that on here? I think under social maybe. Yeah, so there's better photos of everything up there. Because like I said, I also have these Chaos Space Marines that I'm working on. Although I've kind of put a stop to them right now, since I've been working so heavily on Orks, but I have a few more of these to paint. Just a handful of them. Alright, so we got that. I don't know what I want to do for his hair. I think I might... What was it? Was it my knob? Yeah, the knob on the Smash a Squig had like a metallic mohawk. I don't know if I should kind of keep that same theme. Actually, you know what? I might do the purple. Maybe I'll do the light purple? I don't know. Ooh, that's a tough call. So many ways I could go with that. Well, I appreciate it. I'm trying my best. I'm trying to just, you know, learn as I go. I do hit up YouTube and things for tutorials and try to learn from people who are much more seasoned than I, but I also do like to just learn for myself and just see what works, what doesn't. Which, I mean, I had just the other day, I tried something and it didn't work, so I had to repaint it, but, you know, that's the way it goes. And I'm not obviously really used to streaming painting, so do forgive me if I go out of frame as I am right now, or things are just kind of hard to see because I'm still trying to figure that whole aspect of it out. Well, I think it's actually gonna look pretty cool. Everything together is gonna look kick-ass on the table. That's my hope. I haven't gotten to play a game yet. Hopefully by the end of the year I'll have a game under my belt. Even if it's just a kill team game or a small game. Trying to decide. I'll use some gray sear, go ahead and do the stitching on the pants. Light those stitches up nicely. Do the ones on his rear. Love watching painting channels on YouTube. Ninjan and Goobertown are probably my top favorites. Yeah. So Ninjan, Goobertown Hobbies, Vince Venturello Hobby Cheating is another great one. Oh god, was it Zumakito Miniatures? I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of really great channels on there that have a lot of amazing tips and tricks and tutorials. And I have learned quite a bit. pages. Done. Grab some more purple, do another layer on his mohawk here. I painted a model that I gave to my dad as a gift. It should be on my Instagram, but it was a Ghost Rider Ork model. A really cool custom one that I bought from Hardcore Miniatures. Because he really liked my Orks, and he's into motorcycles and things, and so I bought that and painted it up for him. I think it came out quite good. Marco Frizzoni is another good one. He does a lot with alternate mediums and resin display minis. That resin display minis. I have to look that one up. I don't think I've heard of him. I've definitely gotten into watching folks on YouTube though for both the educational value and just, you know, because they're fun to watch. It's like what do they call it? Infotainment. It's like it's informative, but it's also entertaining. Yeah, I figure that's what you meant. Yeah. Yeah, that's what that miniature that I bought, the Ghost Rider Ork, was like a resin 3D printed miniature. It was really cool. I've seen some really awesome resin printed miniatures out there in the wild. Cool for introducing a lot of people to oil paints and how versatile they are. Oh yeah, I've seen a few people using I mean, obviously Ninjon being one of them, the oil paints for like washes and things. I thought that was a pretty cool idea. I actually have oil paints, but I've never tried to do that. I have oil paints just for like painting, well, oil paintings, but I've never tried to do like the oil washes and things. I keep saying I'll try it eventually in the future, but even though it looks really easy, I'm still kind of intimidated by it. So I had this bright red out, I was just adding a little extra highlight to the bottom of this little thing there. Alright, so we got that. Grab a little bit of Emperor's Children and do like a little something extra with his hair. I mean, if you'd really call this hair, I don't know what it's supposed to be. I didn't really like look at the box art with these guys to see, which is what I usually do when I'm unsure of like what something is supposed to be on a model. I look at the box art, but these guys, I'm just doing my own thing. like little pink lines across, because I don't know, for some reason I think that's gonna look neat. So we're gonna do that. I might do it on the sides too. Hell, why not? Highly recommend it. It's actually very easy. I went the route of just washing the whole mini, using mineral spirits to wipe away where the highlights were. Using on the eradicator is just so much easier. It looks better than using my GW arm container washes. I do want to try it. It's just, I guess it just feels intimidating to try to do like the first time. I feel like maybe after I did it, I'd probably be like, oh yeah, this is not bad at all. Oh, and I stream games a lot, and I used to stream a lot. I don't really stream as much anymore, but so a lot of my regular viewers and mods and stuff aren't really necessarily into Warhammer, so they just kind of hang out while I do my thing most of the time. Oh, it looks kind of interesting. I like it. Gives them a little extra character there. Alright, so that's good, that's good, that's good. It's time to have a little bit of fun with the metallics. Yeah, I'll definitely have to try that with a model here in the... Ooh, you know what? Actually, that's not a bad idea. I have this guy that I bought just for fun, and he's been sitting here forever. He would actually probably be a really good one to try that on. Like one of those D&D miniatures. He would probably be a great practice piece for that. Okay, let's grab this brush. So like this. Ourselves a nice little bit of metallic wear on this guy. Ever so lightly. Cool. Let's hit this shoulder pad. Give ourselves some nice little scuffs and chips here. Some wear on the edges. I'll grab my Rune Fang steel and put a few little scratches in here. He's gonna add all kinds of weird raids the other day. Got one without a healer or tank, then I got one without a healer, and one of the tanks was really impatient pull as soon as he saw the enemy, no matter where his team was. Oh yeah. Yeah, we had a raid last night where one of the tanks kept charging into things that were gonna lock people out when everyone wasn't even there yet. Yeah, I enjoy watching folks paint on Twitch as well. I've been trying to find more people who stream painting. Little light. Scratches in here. Come on, depth perception. Help me out here. Do kind of a little chips in there. Little chips in the side. Cool. I'm glad they changed it so you can just move to a sealed off area. Oh, I didn't even know that. Hey Toa, how you doing? Yeah, every once in a while I get around to painting on stream. I've been working on this guy tonight. He's most of the way done. Still got some things to do, but he's coming along quite nicely. I probably need to do it again later. Well, I said later. Like, I'll do it. So I'm just kind of examining him and seeing if there's anything I want to hit again, or I'm not gonna do his base right now just because that's like, the bases are a pretty time consuming process overall. Let's see, I'll bring him in closer so we can get a closer look. Sorry about the shadow. It's the camera, my camera mount thing broke and I had to put a different camera clamp on it to get it where I needed it to go, and now it's kind of like off to the side and it's creating weird shadows and stuff, so apologies on that. I usually do more with the scars and stuff too, but again, with these guys being more of just like basic infantry, I haven't really been putting a lot of effort into doing as many details as I normally would, but I have to manually focus every time I move him around, so don't mind me. But yeah, I think he looks good. He'll fit right in with the other dudes we got. I did this guy last night. And then in contrast, this was the line I did the night before, so you can see we've got a pretty diverse group of orcs here. Mixed in also with now this guy. Our skin colors are gonna be quite different across the board, but the purple shoulder pads are gonna help tie them all together. So when you're looking down at them on the table, you see all the purple shoulder pads, and you're like, oh yeah, they're all together. It makes sense to me, right? And I got the knob leader dude done too. He was the first one I did. I painted the goth markings on his jaw plate. I took the time to like paint in all his scars on his chest and do the little details for him, scars on his head. Took a little more time on him. So yeah, they're slowly coming together. It's gonna take some time. What do you need? Well, I'm about to be done. It's getting late and I gotta pack all this stuff up and put away all these paints and everything. Because I've created a pretty righteous mess for myself here. As you can see, all the paints I pulled out while I was painting. But yeah, it's coming together pretty good. I don't know if I'd be able to show that up there or not. Probably not that well. Hold on, let me see. It's gonna be probably too dark to see anything. Yeah. Oh yeah, you can't even see up there. I have other models and things up there, but it's way too dark. I wonder if I could use my flashlight. Thanks. You can't really see him. Oh yeah, it's way too dark. I'd have to adjust the camera settings here. Let's see. Still can't really see. Yeah, well, there's the squig buggy. Let's see, there's a squig buggy, there's a def copta, there's a knob on the smash a squig. There's a D&D figure I painted, there's another D&D figure I painted. There's a whole mess of orcs up top that I'm not going to be able to really show because they're like way up there. But and now it's going to be super bright because I turned everything up. And I've got a wire in the way. Hold on, I'm gonna fix it, don't worry. Or maybe do worry. Aperture back. There we go. I have some of those pops, yeah. Those are crystals pops up there. Ooh. It is very fun, Toa. You guys want to see one of my other favorites? I actually painted him quite some time ago. I had only been painting for about like a month or so when I painted this guy. Or maybe 2 months. I haven't been painting long. Hold on, I gotta brush the dust off of him really quick. He's been sitting up there for a while. This is one of my earlier ones, but it's one of my pride and joys. This is Gaz, and he is a beast. Let me pull in on him a little more. So as you can see, he's quite large compared to like this little guy. He's quite big. I got him as one of my first models, and he sat there because I was terrified to try to paint him for obvious reasons. So I waited like, I said maybe a month and a half or so before I decided I'd finally paint him. So yeah, I've been painting maybe 2 months by the time I painted this guy. But I'm quite pleased with how he came out. Yeah, he's big, and apparently on the tabletop he's quite tough. I don't know if it still rings true now, because you know they're constantly making changes. But from what I understood, he was quite a tough cookie on the battlefield. But yeah, I love this model. It's so cool. It's so awesome in person. Yeah, he sits up on the top of my shelf, reigning over all the other orcs. Oh no, Makari fell. Back up there, Makari. Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Now, you want to see the first orcs I painted? Hold on. Again, they're kind of dusty. So this is the first model kit I ever got. It was Age of Sigmar. Very first kit I ever bought was their Orks Ard Boys. So these were my first ever paint jobs. And yes, it's just sand glued onto the base with some yellow paint. Yeah, these are the guys that got me into painting in the first place. Try to find they're all dusty, I'm sorry, because they've been sitting forever. Yeah, these are my first ones. I mean, there's basically no highlighting on them whatsoever, and I mean, I think I did pretty good as far as painting them cleanly. Not really running over with my colors and stuff a lot, but there was definitely not much in the way of like technique going on with highlighting or shading or anything like that. And I have one random odd one out that's a different color because I wanted to try a different color. So I've got this guy who is from the same kit, but he's like a darker blue color because I wanted to try something different. No, thank you. I'm happy to play against those guys. Oh, I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. I'm enjoying it a lot. Like I said, I've really gotten into it. I've got my chaos. I've got a handful of chaos guys. Oh no, was that the one from last night? Doing Alpha Legion for the Chaos guys. I'm sorry. Are you sure? Do you need some help? Well, now we know why we couldn't find it. Ooh, hold on, let me pull out my Greater Possess, because I really like him. Get out of here. Sorry, like, anytime a new person comes in the stream, it always ends up turning into, hey, look at all the stuff I've painted already. So here's one of my Greater Possessed. This was actually the first Chaos unit I painted, and I thought it came out really good. Focus, focus, focus. Those people in chat appreciate your paintings as much as I do because I love me some more hams. Yeah, those orcs, man, those orcs. Bear Icon pulled me in first. Oh, yeah, I have a really awesome artist who does all of my art, from my emotes to my profile picture and like everything in between. Named Kami, let me share his stuff. Yeah, he does all my emotes, my sub badges, my everything. And he does do commissions, so. But yeah, that was my first Chaos unit I painted. I really like the way he came out. And then Oh, he's way back there, man. I really don't want to pull him. Oh god, I'm gonna drop everything. I already have too much. Come down here, guys. Stay there. And then, I swear I'm gonna stop showing stuff. I promise. So this is one of my obliterators. I did my chaos skin really kind of weird and different, but I kind of love it. I did it with like these pinks and purples on the flesh tones, which is way different from the way like the box art flesh is, but I thought it would look really cool. There's such harsh shadows with my lighting, it's hard to find good angles. No such thing as too much, hey. One thing I've learned about this is anybody who does models is like extremely eager to show them off. So yes, I have two of those. I have the whole start collecting kit for Chaos, and all of it is painted with the exception of the Master of Possession is the only thing I have left to paint, so. There's my other obliterator. But I mean, he looks basically the same as I did them in the same art scheme, so. The paint, so how I did the paint, I forget who I watched who showed me this, but what I did was I put metallic paint down, and then this is Archelian green contrast paint, which obviously it's blue but not green, but that's what it's called. But so the contrast paint went over the metallic paint, and it helped shade the lower areas to where they're darker, but the top area still, the metallic flake still shines through the contrast paint, which I thought was a really cool effect, so I stole it. And I did all my Chaos Space Marines like that. So that's why if you look, you can see like the metallic sheen of the armor coming through the blue contrast paint. Now that I've pulled all my Chaos guys down. Sure, and a few. Maybe. I'm not good at doing faces yet. I'm still learning how to do faces. Thank you. All right, Chaos, go back up there. I'm showing people my toys. Oh, okay. I'm just showing people my toy soldiers. God, what do you expect? I think that's the Aspiring Champion is what that guy's called. Oh, I also have the Venom Crawler done. I wasn't honestly too happy with... He's really dusty too. I wasn't honestly super happy with how he came out, but I'll still show him anyway. I mean, he doesn't look bad by any means, but I feel like I could have done better. I said I was gonna do it. But yeah, I definitely could have done a lot more with him. I could have done more with his base and a little more on the details, but I was kind of dumb and I painted him while I was having a really busy couple of weeks at work, and I ended up kind of rushing parts of him. But he still looks good, and he looks good from a tabletop distance, so. Probably doing my Necrons Metallics with a really stark wash. Yeah, the contrast paint really works well for that, especially like watered down some. if you need to. That's how I did all these guns. It's a Black Templar contrast paint, just kind of watered down, so the metallic still shows through it and makes it look like metal, but it gives it just kind of more of an interesting look in my opinion. Pull that light back down. So yeah, and I've got a ton of stuff still to paint because I had a friend buy me a battle wagon, had a friend buy me a Wasbomb Blastojet. My parents for my birthday bought me a Deathkilla War Trike. I've got the rest of the Beast Snagga Boys and the Squig Hog Riders to do. Yeah, I showed him the Squig Buggy that you got me already. And then I have a Chaos Rhino that someone got me, King got me. Gosh, I got a lot of stuff. I got the rest of the Kill Team stuff to do. The rest of the Kill Team Orks and the humans. As I did half of the Kill Team stuff. Half of the Kill Team Orks, I should say. Oh god, and I got all the terrain for Kill Team. I'm overwhelmed, realistically, but thank you guys for sitting here and looking at all my toy soldiers. It's always fun when folks come in that haven't seen it yet and I can like show it all off. But you basically just saw my progress over the last 6 months from the start to right now. Chaos Marines, go back up there, Chaos Marines. I'll fix you all up later. Well, I'm actually about to sign off because I got my streaming setup for painting is like a laptop on a tray and there's a whole bunch of crap everywhere and it takes me a while to get everything pulled down, so I actually need to go ahead and call it a night. I've actually been streaming for over 3 hours, so wow, that's surprising. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night, pack up so I can maybe play a little bit of Final Fantasy XIV before I head to bed for the night. But I appreciate everybody coming by, hanging out with me. It's been a lot of fun. Having unpainted plastic is a pretty good problem to have, exactly. It gives me a lot to look forward to. And I have a lot to look forward to. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I hope you had as much fun as I did. I hope you have a good rest of your night, a good day tomorrow, all that good stuff. And I'll catch you on the next stream, or I'll catch you in the Discord or social media or wherever. If you haven't joined any of that stuff, I'll post it again. Feel free to. But yeah, have a good one, guys, and I will see you all. Well, yeah, I'll see you then, or I'll see you on another time.